Morning. I swear a lot.
It is 1:56 in the PM, and you're watching The Foreman. I'm your host, Foreman, once again. And, yeah, stuff's weird at the moment, so a video like this is actually very convenient for me, because in the precious bit of time I actually have to, work on this stuff, and I'm not even talking about time I have to actually play games, I need to produce as much stuff as possible, and as it turns out, Foreman Talks tends to be fairly quick and easy and relatively painless to make. I don't like to spam them, of course. I don't think I'll be doing too many of these in the span of a short amount of time, but to have it as an option for at least one video is helpful. I have to apologize if you guys can hear background noise, but I've got the window open because it is a bit of a scorcher over here today. Many of you are from hotter climes, so I'm sure you could handle this just fine, but for me, not really used to it, so it's a little bit rough. The dogs especially hate it, especially Summer, given that she is in the late stages of pregnancy, about to have puppies soon, so a lot of effort is being expended to try and keep them cool, and then occasionally I try to keep myself cool, so there's that. But the other advantage of doing Foreman Talks, I suppose, as opposed to a normal video, although there will be normal videos, of course, is that it allows me the opportunity to discuss and talk about things that might be bugging me, or on my chest, or what have you. And that's helpful, and that's one such thing I'd like to discuss today. And I kind of want to introduce it like this, because I don't want to present this like it's some kind of huge, big crisis that's really enveloping my life or anything like that, because it's not. I've been through worse in many respects, in many different ways, in many different times in my life. It's just that this is something that is definitely happening at the moment and is kind of impossible to ignore. And that is the amount of views per video, I guess, at the moment, the overall view rate, watch rate, as it were, of videos at the current moment in time now. I'm obviously alluding to the fact that it's lower than it was previously, but let's look at the facts here, right? We all knew, especially me, I knew this better than anyone, that this was going to happen after Library of Ruina was finished, after I finished that series. I knew this was going to happen. I predicted it. Almost exactly the way it has played out, which is interesting that I was able to do that. But yes, I'm not surprised, not even slightly. Overall view rate had been dipping to be honest, quite slowly, quite gradually, quite slowly, since the Ruina series finished. It was noticeable by me, at the very least, because I have access to my own channel's analytics, but I could definitely see it happening. Then my internet went off for like a week, which was really annoying, extremely annoying, still not over that one personally, and that heralded a, sharp decline. That was a solid drop after that point, right? Which lends credence to the fact that, there are so many channels, there are so many content creators doing similar things on the internet that if you drop off the face of the earth for a couple days or a week, people will forget about you. I don't hold any resentment or hard feelings about it. It is simply the nature of the beast. It is simply the way of things. It was an unpleasant discovery to make, but, I'm not, surprised. It's perfectly logical outcome. And then, of course, now I'm working doing work for my friend in London, which requires me to be away for days at a time, and of course we've got the puppies being born soon. So it's definitely a situation that's going to get worse before it gets better. I can definitely see that. That is very, very apparent to me right now. So, I've clearly established, I guess, that I knew that this was going to happen, and I'm not remotely surprised about it. So surely it doesn't bother me. Well, no, it does. It's weird, because you can look at something with all of the information you could possibly need on the subject, all the facts and logic, and you know exactly what's going on. You're not remotely surprised by the way things have transpired, and it can still upset you, I guess. And that is the case here. It was a solid year, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, where we were going through LobCorp and Ruina, and I got very accustomed to the view rate I got during that time, I suppose. It's hard not to. It was consistent for a year, just climbing and climbing and climbing, and then staying at an average area with slight increases, and that was very nice. And even the stuff I did that wasn't Ruina related or LobCorp related, Sure, they did not contend with Log Corporal Ruiner, but they were still performing relatively well. Like, they typically average about 1,000 views a lot of the time, with that slowly going down over time as people realized they only wanted to see Project Moon stuff, which is fine. But yeah, to be hit with the sharp decline and then see it is unpleasant to the extreme, I must say, even though I did predict it. That doesn't make it really feel much better. Knowing a fist is about to hit you in the face does not comfort you much when the fist hits you in the face, you know? Like, it's still a negative feeling, it's an unpleasant situation. There's not a lot that can really make you be okay with that. Now, it's a frustrating position to be in because, I guess since working at the previous job, since working at this job, and since videos really started taking off, I've always tried to look at situations, problems, what have you, with a sort of expectation to fix it. I always look at it and go, okay, well, what can be done about this? What can either fix the problem, mitigate the damage, turn the problem into an advantage? You know, like, what methods can I do to get the best possible outcome out of what is happening here? Because there is very real possibility in many occasions that you can turn a problem into a big bonus, a big buff. You can do that in many cases. But here, in my current situation, there's not a lot I can do, really, other than do my fucking best on the rare occasions where I am at home and able to make videos to just produce as much as I can in between these gaps and then fuck off for however many days. And then come back and sort of try again and just keep trying to do that until a time comes when I have more time to be able to really work at this. Now, I don't resent the work in London at all. It's entirely necessary. I'm glad I'm doing it. The money is incredibly helpful. And in the long term, it will help the channel immensely. Having money to be able to get new games so we can have new experiences, replace or upgrade equipment as need be, it's all very important. And while I do make some money from YouTube, and there are some very generous people on the Patreon whom I greatly appreciate, that can't cover all my costs. It helps, oh my god, does it help, and I'm very grateful to all of you for it. But it can't cover everything. You know, if it could cover everything, I wouldn't be going to London, because I'd have this would be my day job, and that'd be amazing. But we're definitely not there yet. I recognize that. That's fine. Me and Sweetman were talking about this on the way home the other day, actually. The struggle, as it were, of making decisions that benefit short-term versus long-term. You know, because it's very easy to sit here and say, like, oh, you should always go for what's best in the long term, because that's logical. But situations aren't always so clear-cut, and you don't always necessarily know if the long-term benefit will even come, let alone what it'll be, right? But yeah, no, it is always better to work towards the long term. But even if you can guarantee to yourself that the long-term benefit exists and will be worthwhile, it can still be very rough in the short term, because you often sacrifice the short term for the sake of the long term. That's typically how it works. And vice versa, you would sacrifice the long term for the sake of the short term. And that's essentially where I am now. I'm having to do work and make decisions now that will benefit me in the long term at the expense of currently watching the channel kind of melt a little bit. This is not, I think, a unique experience. It's not a unique thing that's only happening to me. I'm sure many other channel content creators and what have you have gone through very similar situations. Like, I'm sure many content creators find the thing that really sparks for them, and they enjoy a lot of success, and it's great, and then there's a period of time where everything just starts to cool down again. Everything starts to dip. You know, things settle down, people get over the hype of the thing that they really liked. Some people stay, some people go, some people just stay subscribed but don't really keep up with the content. I know I'm guilty of that, I've done that before as well. Not intentionally, it's just the way of things. And it's difficult, right? I'm having to really wrestle with myself here, because and I'm sure many of you are thinking this now, and you might have even commented it before even getting to this part in the video. But there is a very easy short-term solution to a lot of the issues I'm currently contending with in regards to lowered views and less subscriber gain and all of that. The obvious solution right now would be to just do Limbus Company. Just start doing Limbus Company. It would be it's the easiest way to fix the problem right now, isn't it? But I think this ties back into the long-term versus short-term situation, right? Doing Limbus right now would benefit me in the short term. If I literally finished doing this Foreman Talks and booted up Limbus and started recording it and then published that before I went away on Monday, for 4 days this time, Christ, I will be back Tuesday night, but like, I don't know if I'll have enough time to produce anything in that time. I'm gonna fucking try, but I don't know. But that's not really the point here right now. I could try and get a Limbus out. The Limbus out, the first video of Limbus, because I guarantee I'd do more than one, out before I leave on Monday. But there are problems with that. There are reasons why I'm not doing that. First of all, putting up an episode of Limbus Company and having everyone be like, oh my god, yes, Foreman's finally doing it, and then fucking off for 4 days, I don't think would sit very well with a lot of people, where they're like, oh, he's just baited us with a Limbus video and then fucked off. Feels disrespectful, frankly. If I'm gonna do Limbus, I want to be able to commit to it, because I want to play it. I don't want to do one video on it and then fuck off to do work for however many days and spend the entire time thinking about how I want to keep playing it or finding out more about what's there. Seems like a lose-lose in that respect. Don't get me wrong, I'll probably gain subs and views, but like, I'd rather do Limbus at a time when I have the time for it and I'm more inclined to do it, and we finally wrapped up some of the series ongoing on the show right now. We've got Terraria, we've got Hollow Knight, we've got Disco Elysium. There's other stuff I'm playing with. I haven't even looked at Darkest Dungeon 2 in like 2 weeks. I'd like to do more of that. I don't know if I have time. I'm also, occasionally, trying to do games I haven't done before, or at least do videos on games that I haven't done very much of, trying to vary things up a bit so it's not just the same parts of series going up day in and day out, or every couple of days or what have you. It's a difficult situation because, like, sometimes people ask me, like, hey, Foreman, when's the next Disco Elysium going up? Hey, Foreman, when are you doing more Terraria? When are you doing more Hollow Knight? And, like, there's something deceptive about this business that I don't think people quite realize, and indeed even the people in the audience don't seem to quite realize. It's like, I get those requests, you know, like, we'd love to see more Terraria, we'd love to see more Hollow Knight, what have you. But the only people who actually say those things are like, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say 5 to 10% of the audience are the ones who will actually give you feedback, and that's fine. No one is required to provide feedback. You're not required to do it. I've said this before, but you're not required to do anything in regards to building this channel. The only thing you need to do here is enjoy the content, and if you're not enjoying the content, then you shouldn't watch, right? That's very simple. But people kind of act like, oh, Foreman, how can you not do this thing when everyone's telling you to do it? And I'm like, mate, 20 people are telling me to do it, and there are over 3,500 people here. What you're saying, what you're suggesting for me to do, is not necessarily the move, as it were. It's not the play, which doesn't mean I won't do it. I've done plenty of things that are not advised for an efficient choice of video for a channel, right? Like I did Total Warhammer, you know, I played Risk of Rain recently for fun because I like Risk of Rain. If I was really being efficient about this, I'd have probably stopped the Disco Elysium series a while ago because those videos are incredibly long and just don't really get the views back. Like, they're not really worth the investment. But I want to play Disco Elysium. It's a fucking brilliant game, and I'm enjoying it immensely. I would not feel good if I didn't finish Disco Elysium. I've also really liked Terraria. I want to have a full Terraria series on the show. I think that's a fun thing to have. It's a cool thing to have under your belt as a content creator, and I'm enjoying playing it, and that's why I want to do that. Hollow Knight feels like it's such a darling in the LP community. It feels like you should just have a series of Hollow Knight just sat on your channel, just because that's the thing people like to see. And I can see why. It's a brilliant game. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. Like, I want to do these things, but I also feel the need to occasionally throw in something different. Mainly for 2 reasons. A, to keep things varied so people can have something new to watch. 3 reasons, actually. B, for myself, giving myself a variety of things to record keeps me fresh. If I'm recording the same things over and over and over again, you're going to notice me getting quite bored. So having that variety, a bit of spice in the upload schedule and in the recording schedule is necessary to actually enjoy it, as it were, you know. Comedy suffers under repetition, under having the same contexts over and over and over again. I've got a keep it varied, and I've got to give myself new experiences, or I won't have anything interesting to say. And third of all, I mean, it feels like, and this varies greatly in its accuracy, but the best way to bring new people in would be to have a different game on your channel. Because then people who like that game will be like, oh look, someone else has done a video on this game, I'll check it out. And this is obviously how fucking LobCorp got everyone here, you know? Like, this is the standard procedure for that. Now, I don't truly believe in trying too hard to fish for a big response with different games, fishing for crits, as it were. I don't really see it as like the thing to do all the time, because it feels a little disrespectful to your current audience. I want to provide the people who are already here with stuff they like. I consider that a worthwhile video in of itself. But there should be some fishing for critting, I guess, because, you know, occasionally putting up a video on a different game and varying things up that way, and introducing new games to the overall list of videos on the channel increases our chances of having having a surge of activity, as it were, a surge of people come in, increases it from 0% to 1%, you know, like there is now a chance that could happen, and that's enough for me. It doesn't have to happen, I don't expect it to happen, I don't think I'm going to encounter another LobCorp situation for a long ass time, because that was just so out of the blue and lucky. Straight up lucky. I don't think I'll see that again for a long time, but there is literally a 0% chance if I don't try at all. But I think it's best, like I said, to not lean into it. These are all the things that go through my fucking head on a daily basis when I'm staring at the analytics and watching it go down, right? There's a lot going on in my head, and I have to toss plans and fold plans and consider them together, and then consider them apart, and then consider doing half of one or maybe a bit of the other, and then throwing out a plan entirely, and then bringing that plan back and looking at it at a different angle, and then discarding it again, and then bringing that plan again one more time to have a look at it, whilst also considering 4 other plans and doing the exact same process with them, whilst editing a video and thinking about how I haven't played a game for pleasure in like 3 days. It's a busy time. I'm neither asked for nor request sympathy, because these are all my decisions that I have made. These are my life decisions that I have made and chosen to do. I brought them on myself, and I fully accept the responsibilities involved. It's fine by me. But I guess what I'm hoping for is not sympathy, nor understanding, nor I'm not trying to fish for people to watch more of the videos, or to go donate on Patreon, or any of this crap, or, you know, I'm not asking you guys to do anything. All I want to do with this is 2 things. A, talk about it because it helps. And I guess, sorry, there's going to be 3 things. I've done this again. The second is that this is an easy thing to produce. It is. It's an easier, less stressful, less time-consuming thing to produce, and that's helpful. 3, and this is arguably the most important of the 3, I just want you guys to know what's going on. Really. I just want you guys to have some insight. Because, you know, like, if views are going down, that's fine. I can deal with that, and we'll come back up eventually. Like this video is literally going to be called the ebb and flow of, like, YouTube channels or whatever. I don't know, I haven't decided. But, like, that ebb and flow will happen. We're currently ebbing, we'll be flowing later. Like, we were flowing, now we're ebbing, and we will flow in the future. That's just how it's going to be. As long as I keep working at it, that's what's going to happen. But I can deal with all of that shit. What I can't deal with, I guess, personally, is the idea that people are like, oh, I guess Foreman's given up on this shit. Like, all that fucking big talk about how he wants to make videos, and now he's not even fucking doing it, or he's not putting in the effort, or he doesn't seem like he cares. Like, what a cool guy he is. And I'm like, I don't need to be a cool guy. I don't care if you think I'm a cool guy. But if there's one thing I want you all to always know about me, and always know in your heart to be true, is that I love doing this and I'm committed to it. Whether or not that fact matters to you personally is kind of irrelevant. It's just important to me that people know that I love doing this and want to keep doing it, and I just can't really do as much as I would like to at the moment. It's just the way of things. And once again, I guess most of this is probably done for the purpose of me just venting about it, you know. It's good to talk about things. It's always good to talk about things. Talking helps a lot. Even if you're just staring at a microphone and talking, it turns out that actually helps quite a bit. Mainly because I know at least someone's going to hear it, so I am talking to someone, you know. It's not as if I'm just talking to myself. It is admittedly a one-sided conversation, but I am still talking, and that's nice. But in regards to what I said earlier, don't think that means that you shouldn't offer suggestions on what you want to see. I absolutely do want people to offer suggestions on what they want to see. It's just, I have to try and think about it sometimes. I have someone even asked me the other day, like, hey Foreman, are you going to do more Erratus? And I'm like, that series barely performed when I was at my peak of like views. It barely performed back then. I shudder to think how many views an Erratus video would get now. I think less than 200. I think it would be extremely upsetting for me to see that. And I don't want to. I can accept a possibility of failure, but I don't like guaranteed failure. There has to be at least a chance of success. If there's no chance of success, I don't really see the point in trying. I'll go down swinging, because going down swinging offers like a 0.5% chance of something good happening, but a 0% chance, well, you may as well just catch up on your sleep. But getting back to Limbus, I suppose, that was something I was talking about earlier. I am gonna do Limbus, I am. I've answered this question so many fucking times, but that's fine. Not everyone watches and sees everything I do, so I understand if people aren't sure. And indeed, after this video, people will continue to ask me if I'm ever gonna do Limbus. Yes, I am. I will. I'm gonna. I want to. I do want to. It's not an obligation. I do want to play Limbus. I do. I'm excited to play it. I am. But now is not the time. Not just because of the lack of time in my life, but because we've got so many ongoing series. I've got to wrap up at least one, just something finished before we start something new. I've already started like 2 new things, I think. Well, technically, kinda. Darkest Dungeon wasn't really a full commitment series. It was just me going into that as and when I felt like playing it, and Sir, You Are Being Hunted was something I did for fun, and I could wrap that up in another video, I think, which I'll probably do at some point, but I don't really have time right now. Limbus will happen, just not yet. Not yet. I might even do the Ruiner mod for Slay the Spire first, because I kind of want to look into that, because that sounds like it's really fun. I think there's like 2 Ruiner mods for Slay the Spire, so I'm gonna have to either pick one or do both. I don't know. It's more content, I guess. I just don't have time for more content at the moment. I don't know. You guys who watch Foreman Talks, and I love those of you who do, may have remembered like ages and ages ago I did a Foreman Talks where I complained about not having time to do anything. That is doubly true now. It is extremely true now, and it is twice as frustrating for me, I assure you. But it is the nature of things. I'll complain. Oh, I'll complain all day. I'll complain for days. I love complaining. I'll do a big whinge. But I will get on with it. I will get through it. And I'll be on the other side. And I'll be like, yeah, we did it. Cool. Alright, time to bask in the fruits of my success, of my labor, of my hard work, of my hopefully good choices. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah. It is demoralizing. It is, truly. Like, going on there and seeing little grey downward arrows instead of where like upward green arrows used to be on the channel analytics. Seeing, I don't know, seeing things not perform as well. Spending so much time away from what I want to do and where I want to be that sometimes it feels like my community's kind of drifting away from me a little bit just because I'm not really there half the time. And when I am there, I'm tired and just not on form. I think like on the occasions where I do stream on the Discord server, I think people are expecting me to be like performing, and I'm like, I'm not performing. This is just chill time. I'm just chilling. Like, I'm only here to relax a bit, Dokapon on Tuesdays, and I don't know, other stuff as and when I feel like it. There's gonna be a lot less of that at the moment, I guess, because I just don't have time, and I need to make sure I'm getting sleep, or the situation gets even worse. Ow, my elbow. It's a lot, and it's a lot all at once. It's very much an accurate summary of my life where nothing or very little happens for the longest time, and then everything hits at once. But the one place where I really want things to have hit, which is here, is now being pushed to the back burner while I'm dealing with everything else, and that's not a good feeling. I want this to be my priority all the time. All the time. I always want to be working on this. I could literally do this every day, nearly every day for the rest of my life, and I'd be happy with it. But that's not realistic sometimes. Maybe it will be in the future, but it's not right now. I have to attend to reality, and reality's a bitch, as we're all aware. I don't know, like, I'm just literally just talking. Like, I didn't even go into this with a solid framework in my mind of what I was going to say and how I was going to say it. I just came here to talk. Like, that's about it. I don't have enough time to talk to people on Discord anymore. I try to keep up on the comments on YouTube, but I often miss quite a few, so that's a downer. It is what it is. It's funny, actually. I feel like I started more optimistically and then pessimized myself out by the end of the video, which is actually kind of unusual. I usually start pessimistic on these kind of things and then cheer myself up on the way, but a sign of the times. It's a sign of the current times. It's just where I am right now. But, yeah, I hope those of you who are still watching, I hope you're enjoying what's going up. I hope the things you want to see are going up. Limbus Company will come soon, I promise you. No, sorry, that was a lie. Limbus Company will come. Probably not soon, because I've got things to finish first. I apologize for saying that. That was inaccurate. That was completely untrue. Limbus Company will be here eventually. I guess I do need to do more art of the art book as well from Ruiner, but fuck, that thing is so long and it is such a drag to sit and read for an hour. Just sitting and reading for an hour, and then I'm like, oh, now I have to think of something interesting to say for an hour just reading. I started this channel to play video games. That's what I like doing. Even if it's video games where I just read, that's fine, because at least I'm playing a game. At least things are happening. Instead of just reading. I'm happy to do the book club and the art book and all that shit, but man, does it frustrate me sometimes. And I really do have to drag myself to do it on the occasions where I do it. I'll absolutely try and find an occasion before I'm swamped with dealing with the puppies where I'll at least do one more and try and get as far as I can so you guys have got a chunky video to work with, a chunky book club video to work with. And then I can put it off, I can procrastinate it for another 3 months and not feel quite as guilty as I currently do. I want to do Darkest Dungeon 2 at some point soon. Oh, there's just no time. God. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just me whining now, so I'm wrapping it up. Yeah, just want to keep you guys in the loop. If you've ever got questions for me, ask them. Just straight up ask them. You can go on the Discord. You can ask me directly on Discord. I don't give a fuck. Ping me, whatever. Go and ask me anything. Do what you want. Go in general and ping me, whatever. I don't fucking care. Or just leave comments on the videos, leave a comment on this video, whatever. Do what you will. And I swear to God, I will try to get around to making sure I see things and answer them. Like, I missed your comment, I'm not ignoring you, I just didn't see it. That's just kind of how it is, and I apologize for that. But yeah, if there's anything you want to know, just ask me. But in the absence of that, I did want to take a step forward to make sure you guys were informed of what's going on, and you can know that I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not going to be as present as I have been before for a little bit, and then I'll be back. But I'm not going anywhere forever. No, I'm not. Everything's good. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Or listening, I suppose. Special thanks to Elaine, Teacup of Doom, Adash Sanjeev, Alkir, Honeydew Corporation, Sweet Baby Red, MB Alias, Lord Skullington, Jessica T, Plutonium Pie, Dreamer Ghost, Leper Lullaby, K-Bub, Magic Owl, The Frostbite, Monsoon, Soul World, Jumping with Joy, Warmaster Oku, SCP-106A, Namad, and Kenny T800. For supporting me on Patreon, thank you so much, guys, and thank you all so much for listening. I do like doing these, I do. It is cathartic to be able to talk about stuff and express myself in a way slightly different than normal, in which I'm usually just swearing at people in a video game. So, yeah, no, it's a nice change of pace. Thank you so much for listening. If you've got ideas for topics for Foreman Talks, I'll happily take them, because I think the biggest obstacle to doing these videos, these little chatty videos, is that I can't think of things to talk about. Where I'm like, well, I can think of things singularly, but I'm like, yeah, but can I stretch this out into, 30 minutes or more by myself? If I had Sweetman here, we could stretch anything into 30 minutes, but, we're both busy. So yeah, if you got suggestions, let me know. I'll take them on board. I don't know when the next Foreman Talks will be, because I never do, but when I do that, I hope I see you there. Doodles. Goodbye.